Hi everybody, you're all welcome here today to our webinar on travel influencer marketing in 2018. My name is Conor Dalton. I'll be your host and presenter for today. To kick off, we're just going to first of all look at the agenda of what we're going to go through. So we're going to give an opening and just kind of queue up everything we're going to be talking about. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, why you should pay attention to me. I'm going to give you an overview of the 7 Pillars Academy and kind of let you know what our mission is and what services we're providing for different people. And then you'll see here, we just have kind of a few key but also very important areas that we're going to bring through step by step as we go through the webinar today. We're going to look at what is an influencer, what is the definition of influencer marketing, what does that discipline involve, what channels should you be using. If you've decided influencer marketing is right for you, how do you then go and actually choose that influencer? Looking at some success stories, looking at some fails, and then looking specifically at influencer marketing for the travel industry, looking at how you can apply it for high ROI, high results in terms of sales, bookings, whatever your particular KPI might be. And then in that context and through that lens, we're going to look at particular travel brands that really do excel at using influencer marketing. And then at the end, we're going to give you a few little ideas of things you can put in practice for your own business, your own travel business, and maybe you could even start strategizing those right after the webinar today. But yeah, and then we're going to leave you with some takeaways, and that's going to round up the lens we're going to place on influencer marketing and specifically travel influencer marketing for today. So to kick off, a little bit about myself. My name is Conor Dalton. I'm Marketing Director for Blue Liner Marketing here in New York City. I'm a lead instructor for the 7 Pillars Digital Marketing Academy and primarily teaching the areas of SEO, social media, and online media, which is also paid advertising. I have an MSc, a Master's in Marketing Practice, and my background originally is in professional services and financial services marketing, but I've been working, inclusive of that, I've been working in digital and social media marketing for just over 5 years now. So to give you a little look at what the 7 Pillars Academy is, we offer online courses, boot camps, corporate training, and digital marketing certification here in New York City in our lab space. And we focus on delivering real value to small businesses, entrepreneurs, and even internal marketing departments in companies by giving them a new paradigm for structuring their marketing activities. Really, we allow them to keep collective sight of all the different moving parts that are involved in a marketing project through our proprietary methodology, which covers content marketing, digital marketing, SEO, online advertising, CRM, social, and mobile. So we help you keep sight of all these different balls that you have in the air, knowing that you don't have all the time in the world to do everything, but helping you decipher and focus on what really matters, what's crucial to your ROI, and how to get the best results from the most effective work. We also have a little bit of a giveaway. If you stay until the end of the webinar today, we're giving away a free copy of the book written by Blue Liner's CEO, Armin Rusta, and that will be available for you through a PDF link at the end. But just to dive right in, today we're talking about influencer marketing for travel and tourism. And in the context of this, we're really talking about a particularly exciting tactic for a particularly exciting industry at a particularly exciting time. This is really a product of the current digital environment in which we're in. As digital and tech evolves, phones with better cameras and social media platforms develop, this is really the new age of how marketing is going to be achieved. And also as well, on the other hand, with better accessibility, better awareness of destinations, and even easier flights and connections. This is really a synergy between digital technology and global accessibility becoming married into one. So we know old school product endorsement, very casting a wide net with big budgets on big platforms and just very obvious use of celebrity endorsements or figureheads to sell products. But really now, when we're looking at influencer marketing in 2018, we're talking about an evolution of that. We're talking about trusted first-person recommendations, or at least the value of those being leveraged from key players like travel bloggers, and then being pushed out through, most commonly, social. So really, to start at ground floor, what is an influencer? An influencer is someone who has the power to influence the perception of others or can persuade them to take actions. This is a really key definition here because one of the biggest misconceptions about influencers is that they're just someone with a large social media following. And this thinking really confuses influence with popularity. And there is somewhat of a correlation, but they are two distinct things. The act of influencing requires a specific result, so we want them to actually be able to achieve something for us, and that's a change in thinking or behavior within our target audience. So why use influencers? From searching for online reviews to asking friends for personal feedback, customers really look to their peers for advice when making these type of everyday purchases. And so essentially when you engage an influencer, you can actually have someone become a trusted friend that the person doesn't even know. So it's kind of a mix of the two. To look at the actual discipline of what influencer marketing is, influencer marketing focuses on using key leaders to drive your brand's message. So again, using someone who has that platform, has that stage, but again, has the actual relevant connection with their audience. When we apply it to marketing and influence someone who helps people actually buy from you, again, we need to keep focus of the actual end goal here. Raising brand awareness and getting your message out there, it is one thing, but if you're investing budget into something, you want to make the distinction between what you're able to do in your own social channels and the unique benefit that this influencer actually offers you. And again, it's drive action, change perceptions, make them actually enact a certain form or pattern of behavior. And when you're looking for influencers, then they must have a combination of these three factors, which is they have to have the reach, but it needs to be overlapped with contextual credibility and an element of salesmanship too. We've all seen influencers where they might be recommending a product that we know they may use, they may gain value from themselves, but the sale is a little too hard, a little too disjointed, a little too obvious. So they need to have the platform, the contextual credibility, but then also be able to slip it in nicely in a way that makes you feel like you're not being marketed to in too strong a manner. They can't be too heavy-handed with it because that is one of the unique benefits that influencer marketing actually involves. And to that end, when it's done right, influencer marketing is really kind of the new word of mouth marketing. It really helps you discover products in a way, products or services or destinations in this case, or even excursions, in a way that makes you feel like you're just finding it out from, as we said, a trusted friend. So what channels should you be using? Again, asked this question a lot, and it's really, really important which channels you're choosing to use. The primary influencer marketing channels, at least from what we're seeing, is YouTube, Instagram, and Snapchat. And as social media allows people to connect with their followers in a more real way, and each one of these platforms has a unique kind of hook into their key audiences. But how should you actually be choosing the right channels is a key point too. It's important that they have the 3 R's that are relevant to your brand, that they're the resonance, the relevancy, and the reach. So that potential engagement an influencer can generate on that platform is actually relevant and valuable to your brand. And that the relevancy of that resonance then is actually in line with how many of your target customers can be found on that platform. So again, Instagram is a very good example here because we know that if you're trying to market a travel destination, a lot of people are on that channel and open to suggestion in that manner. And then reach obviously is always important too because there needs to be significant numbers of those people there in order for it to actually loop back in and contribute to your bottom end. So after you've chosen that platform and after you're bearing in mind those key concepts that we talked about before when just realizing what actually makes an influencer powerful for your marketing mix, it's important to look at some key elements of their previous behavior too. So if they're already involved in influencer marketing, you need to look at their engagement. How often are people actually engaging with their content? They may have a large follower base, but people mightn't actually be connecting with the content they're pushing out. The reach, again, is that actually penetrating through from being just an engaging piece of content to actually reaching the people at the heart of their decision-making process? frequency? Are they regularly posting, or is it just a little bit scattered? I mean, obviously you're paying per post when you're talking about an influencer, but in general, are they keeping their, their influencer muscles exercised, and, are they frequently getting high value content out to their audience? And then the authenticity, which loops back to that trusted friend factor we talked about earlier. Are they doing it in a way that seems too obvious that they're being sponsored? I know from a regulatory point of view, you do sometimes have to declare that it is a sponsored post, but again, this should be just a little note at the end. It shouldn't be necessarily that A, it seems too obvious that they're being paid, or B, that they're just coming out too strongly, noting that this is actually a paid partnership. So to look at some examples of when influencer marketing is really a success, Beats by Dre was a huge early example of it. Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine were very clued into how images of people literally wearing Beats would be a good driver for people in turn wanting to own them themselves. And unfortunately, sometimes it does go wrong. We've all seen examples here like this Let the Lord Be With You channel, and then Naomi Campbell, where they were obviously getting content from the influencer person the person that's trying to push their product out on influencer channel, but they actually left in some of silly mistakes, sloppy kind of stuff. But it's important to ensure that mistakes like that does not happen, because that just shoots any relevancy and authenticity you have in the foot. So when we're looking again at travel and tourism, why should we use influencer marketing for travel and tourism? Well, travel really conjures up many emotions, from stress to anxiety, but also wonder and excitement. And when you use influencers, you can harness the power of these emotions and leverage them for your travel brand. We look at a stat here from Lonely Planet, saying that 84% of millennials and 73% of non-millennials are very likely to plan a trip based on someone else's vacation photos or social media updates. So this element of FOMO, or this seeing what other people have and then wanting to kind of be in line with this, the peer pressure element is all very real. So you can actually harness the power of that in a positive way to drive people to your service or your location. And to look then at 3 bigger brands that are in this space doing it very well. At first, we've got Airbnb, and social has long driven their success, and influencers are a strong cornerstone of their social and advertising strategy. But people are influenced in the lifestyle of these influencers, and Airbnb does a really good job at authentically associating this lifestyle that people are trying to buy into with staying in one of their properties. So the example here was Lady Gaga when she was in town for the Super Bowl. They were really able to, through a paid partnership with her, enable her to transfer some of her clout into, okay, she has a certain lifestyle, she's staying in Airbnb, I too can get a piece of that if I were to get a real authentic sense of a place by staying in an Airbnb destination too. Marriott also do a really strong job at it. They understand that they had a strong presence in some of the older demographics, but they wanted to really target millennials. And to do that and to reach these younger generations, they launched a new Snapchat influencer campaign. Really, the power of this was just they boosted the rewards program via Snapchat, and they were able to reach tens of millions of people by using influencers to drive stories onto their Snapchat and just even cover where they were staying within the Marriott destinations on their own Snapchat channels. And then also another good example was Southwest Airlines, because they, instead of even just getting influencers to do it, they got influencers to run competitions. So they had the compounded audience building and reach building effect of having their influencers spread that to their followers, and then having the individual followers' actual audiences then learn it from them. So there's a key point there as well, where not all influencers are 100,000 plus follower Instagram accounts. We're all in our own way micro-influencers amongst our peer group. So then, how to look at how your travel brand can actually work with influencers, because there's some couple of really key ideas that are very actionable and very applicable here. So let them be a host. If your brand is a travel experience, service, or location, you can get an influencer to join your team for a one-off special event, or for a period of time as a long-term arrangement. You can actually have them be at your destination, at your location, facilitating services, facilitating tours, and being really in the thick of it too. And by allowing them to host it, you can have them be on destination, authentically there, having similar experiences and very controlled, optimized experiences. You can really give them like the royal treatment. They can capture all that and then translate that to their audience too. So if they're a key player in a certain space, like adventure travel or fitness tourism, you can really make sure that they have the ultimate experience that you'd love everyone else to look at and kind of like wish that they were getting. And then you can have that push them out to their followers and really create a buzz around exactly what you're offering. You can send them on a famil trip, which is kind of like a comped experience. So they're not new in the world of traditional media and travel, like journalism, but for influencers, it's becoming increasingly popular too. And basically then, if you give them a highly positive experience, they will, both genuinely and because they were paid to do it, they will be able to relay how positive that was. And again, if they're putting up content regularly, you're giving them more fuel for their brand. So it can be mutually beneficial. So if you give them a very, very strong experience, that will give them more fuel to produce content for their page too. So it can be mutually beneficial. And again, any good association with your brand that you get out there amongst those key circles will have a really positive impact if the right influencer is chosen to do it. Content creation. All these influencers they're content creation experts because they've had to build their own brand through creating content on these social networks. So if you need content created or about your travel brand, influencer marketing is a great place to get that job done too. Again, being mutually beneficial. You get to give them another thing to talk about because they continually need to be providing relevant content to their audience, but you also can garner some of that content too. Using this example here from the Kimpton Sea Fire in Cayman Islands, this image actually was captured by a visitor there. And so we see how an influencer marketer like this has a certain eye for how to do things, and they can do it with the authenticity that's not, it doesn't require a big photo shoot to be set up, or it doesn't even require the time in which you need to do it yourself. They're good at it, and you can harness the power of their strengths at creating content like this by allowing them to engage with your brand. You can allow an influencer to create a bespoke product or service. So another way an influencer can join your team and contribute to the growth of your brand is through a bespoke product or service offering that's designed by the influencer. So they might have their finger to the pulse or their ear to the ground of really what their audience is looking for, and you want to capture what their audience is. So a fantastic partnership you can engage in there is for you to actually give them an element of that too. You can allow them to shape the product or service you might be offering. So you could allow them to, a tour company, for example, could engage an influencer to design a travel itinerary that becomes one of the brand's regular offering. And a good example for an official tourism board is you could engage with an influencer to create a new and unique travel experience for, again, their followers, but understanding that their followers are just indicative of a larger portion of the market. Reviews are tremendously important, which we all know in the travel sector. And again, speaking of traditional promotional activities, the Humble product review is a great way to collaborate with an influencer on a small scale, especially when the budgets are tight. So again, much more accessible route. Again, whether you don't have to necessarily comp anything, but if an influencer or if anyone even is engaging with your products or services at your destination, nurturing reviews and ensuring that not just any negative experiences are put out there, but that you're actually nurturing people to broadcast their positive experiences. That's tremendously powerful too. And that's very at the core of, again, what influencer marketing is, because really we're just trying to get a nice peer-to-peer recommendation from a trusted friend. And nurturing these and ensuring that all these positive experiences are captured and then broadcasted out on TripAdvisor or Facebook, or even if it's an Instagram post that's using your hashtag, or an Instagram story or a Snapchat story, it's all tremendously important. And all these, again, micro-influencers, even if you're not talking about engaging a huge influencer with a paid following, it's tremendously important too, because each little piece of positive information that's put out there about your brand forms the foundation of something that in the end can create quite a strong presence for your brand. It all counts to the main picture that's online. Another one, let them take over. So you'll see this a lot with, I don't know, with a band on a radio's Instagram story, or again, even with, say, if a fitness retreat is allowing someone to have a week kind of event on, taking over the Instagram story or taking over the Instagram channel is a tremendously valuable way for you to really, like, again, let someone else have the reins, give them the control, but also bring some of their style, pizzazz, and experience from what they've built on their own channel into your channel too. So if you want, again, talking about authenticity, how do you align your brand with your exact audience? Well, allow the voice to be literally the voice that is connected to this audience anyway. So tremendously important. It's fun and creative, allows for some of that real-time content, and just tremendously valuable. And also then, recruit them as an ambassador. So kind of like a continual mini takeover. You can allow them to be preaching the good message or good story of your destination or brand or services long after they actually attend. So they might attend once, and again, you might have created a very strong relationship with them, and then create a scenario where they're once a week, once a month, posting something back to a great trip they had when they were staying in your hotel or staying at your destination or engaging with your tour. This can give a good half-life to that content and their message by regularly topping it up. Or again, you can, for example, you could allow them to come for a certain slot each week or each month, and then that could be something that they continually are pushing out to their brand. So it's really like a celebrity endorsement, I guess, but in this new digital form of it. So those are some of the main points. And again, we're just going to do a quick recap over those before moving on to any questions. So some of these key takeaways are influencer marketing can leverage the emotions and FOMO, that fear of missing out, within millennials, but also within the wider this audience, to drive sales and bookings. Your main channels should be Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat. And when you're looking for influencers, then you want to look for reach, contextual credibility, and that salesmanship factor. You want to make sure that they can naturally sell it in a way that's not too heavy-handed. What you can utilize influencers to do is to generate content, create bespoke service offerings for your customers, generate reviews or aid in that review nurturing process, and also gain valuable brand advocates and ambassadors. So, you want your champions out there singing your good praises, and influencers are a very good way of doing this. So, just want to open it up to see if there's any questions. Again, just let us know in the chat. Perfect. Okay, we've got one question here. Perfect. Okay, so the question here is, what would you recommend as an influencer strategy for a small hotel? Small Caribbean hotel. Okay, well, going back through the steps we had associated there with what, an optimal process for identifying influencers and identifying relevant channels, I would say the first idea would be to look at the market in which you're in. So you're in the Caribbean in this instance, and you're dealing with a kind of a boutique style hotel. So I would say look at someone that might have a strong influence within, again, let's assume your target audience is the United States here. Let's look for a travel blogger or influencer on Instagram, say, that has a strong connection with the Caribbean, has maybe been to, I'm not sure of the exact destination here, but say has been to some other different locations in the Caribbean, some other different islands, that you enjoy their style, you enjoy their images, you see that their posts are getting strong engagement, and then based on that, reach out to that influencer, maybe on a one-to-one basis, because if you reach out, you can go through networks for sure, and there are agencies that specify specifically in that, but you're much more likely to get more bang for your buck if you reach out directly to the influencer, and you can shape a nice, a plan that's much more tailored to your needs. So I would say, look to someone who has a strong connection to Caribbean, strong engagement on there. You know that there's contextual credibility between the messages they're putting out in their channel and potentially your brand. So for example, they focus on luxury travel and you're a luxury boutique hotel, rather than someone who's maybe in the extreme sports or hang gliding area. So make sure their focus is aligned with yours. So they focus on luxury, your luxury, and then you reach out to them on a one-to-one basis and negotiate where they might come down to your hotel, get to experience it, and then maybe have a regular posting strategy in place where they're, maybe they could be posting on Mondays, for example, when vacation booking time is drawing close, they could be posting, nice images of what a relaxing getaway they had. And again, you would have identified that you feel like people are checking in with them on maybe the next hot place to go. So I think that's something that could be very favorable. And you could create a good dialogue there where, they could evolve, if that campaign goes well, into being one of your brand advocates or brand champions or ambassadors. But that's a scenario I think would look really well there. And I think walking you through that journey actually kind of contextually ties in a lot of the points we were talking about in terms of relevant platform, highly valuable influencer, aligned with your goals, that's contextually credible, has the reach, but also has the engagement on that reach. So I think that would be a good fit there. And that seems to be all we have for questions. So just moving on to, if everyone would like to go to 7pillarsdigital.com/free-book, you can pick up your own free copy of the 7 Pillars of Digital Marketing. As we noted earlier, it provides basically a new paradigm for organizing all your digital marketing projects, allows you to keep sight of all the different balls you have in the air, prioritize your priorities, and basically put your best foot forward in terms of not being able to do everything, but focusing on the things that really matter. So thank you. We'd like to really thank you for joining us today, and hopefully you got some value out of this, and feel free to reach out to me at Conor, C-O-N-O-R, at bluelinerny.com for any follow-up questions, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next webinar. Thank you.